Hey, we're doing something different this week for the podcast. I'm in Brandon's office. For those of you listening on the podcast, you can't see me, but for those on YouTube, you'll be like, what's this new background? For Amanda, it's Brandon's office. And the reason we're in here is I'm going to be asking him 5 questions. These questions, I might ask more, we'll see where it goes, but these questions were developed by an AI model where we asked them 4 questions to ask Brandon about why is infinite banking becoming so popular and threats to avoid. So all AI did was come up with the questions, and I'm going to read them to Brandon, and he's going to answer them. And then we'll come back and recap at the end what we take away from it. You ready? Here we go.
In a world where chaos seems to reign supreme, where uncertainty lurks around every corner, and financial markets are now more unpredictable than ever, there's one place you can turn to find clarity and control. Welcome to the Wealth Wisdom Financial Podcast.
Hey, I'm Brandon.
And I'm Amanda.
Join us as we dive deep in the world of personal and business finance
to assist you in navigating through the chaos and building the financial future you deserve.
We believe when conventional financial thinking doesn't get you where you want to go,
you need wealth wisdom.
So if you're ready to take control of your financial destiny,
tune in to the Wealth Wisdom Financial Podcast.
Because in a chaotic world, your money shouldn't be.
Subscribe now and never miss an episode.
Okay, here we go with question number 1. What key factors do you think are driving the increased interest in infinite banking concepts recently?
Hey guys, so there's a lot of movement in the infinite banking world, especially if you watch video, if you watch YouTube, podcast. I feel like now everybody is jumping on the YouTube podcast bandwagon, and they're seeing an opportunity. I've even seen a sponsored ad using Nelson Nash's book talking about annuities, and people are just flocking to it because of, with interest rates going up, people are looking for alternative ways to still do real estate, still keep in the game, I guess you could say. And so now the idea of using life insurance, the policies, I believe are, a little more attractive now when interest rates are higher. So more and more people are thinking about that stuff. So I think that's why there's a lot more movement in that direction. I think there's a lot of shadiness going on, and you have to make sure that you're finding the right people that actually know what the heck they're talking about and have been doing this not just 5 seconds, but longer.
Here's question number 2. How does infinite banking compare to traditional savings and investment strategies in terms of long-term financial security? And I will ask you to stay on question because we're going to talk about some of those threats in the future. So don't get into the threats of infinite banking. Just compare it to traditional savings and investment strategies.
Another great question. See, again, I haven't read them very well or at all. So here's the way I think about it. Is we all need to be saving for our future. And I like to think of myself as 2 different people whenever I'm building these plans for people. Is I'm saving for old me, right? For future. Now, if I put it into just a savings account, well, then once I use that money, it's gone. Right. It is no longer there. I've used it to buy the car, used it to buy the real estate. Maybe I got a better deal on the real estate because I used my savings account or whatever I had there. But wouldn't there be a better way where I could borrow, in essence, from myself, right, and be able to buy 2 assets? They call it the and asset for a reason, is because I can save for future me and then borrow from old me to give current me a loan. It's kind of the way I think about it. So I'm 2 different people. It's kind of like being a little multiple personality. I don't know, schizophrenic, something like that. But it's mainly me thinking of myself as both an older person and a younger person and the bank at the same time. So I have to think about that. And then I'm able to borrow from the policy. It is life insurance, so I'm borrowing from the general fund of the insurance company. And as I pay it back, I can reuse it again. It's just a powerful way of leveraging our assets to do two things at once.
What are some common misconceptions or pitfalls that people should be aware of when considering implementing an infinite banking strategy?
Yeah, there's a lot of sales tactics out there. There's a lot of people that are just selling, as we say, the sizzle, right? They might say, "Hey, I am buying this thing. You can do this, this, and this." They'll even use IUL type products. That's index universal life products that people think that are similar to what Nelson Nash and Infinite Banking and Banking Yourself, Pamela Yellen, they'll say, "Oh, it's the same thing," and it's not. Like even in the books, they clearly state they would not use those type of products. They are okay products for other reasons, but not for the infinite banking um, thing to use it for buying a house or doing various things that you want to do short range. Maybe you might use IUL for long range thinking, maybe. But there's a lot of people who are using his name, her name, and spinning it in a way that makes it sound sexy and awesome, which it is. But they're trying to use sales pitches or something. I don't know. It's really quite annoying, and they're really trying to do I think they're doing a disservice because they're selling policies that aren't going to last for a long time. They're going to break, and we want to be able to stress test, build it that the policy, life insurance policy, is done for life. It is a whole life product.
I really like what AI gave us for question number 4 because I think it'll actually help you build on what you said in question 3. How can individuals assess whether an infinite banking strategy is suitable for their specific financial situation and goals?
I think that's a really hard question because a lot of people are just trying to sell again a product and say, "Oh, you could do this. Let's just put 30,000 in or 10,000 or whatever, however much you have. Let's just throw that in there." And they aren't th thinking about the whole comprehensive plan or goals of the client, right, or individual that's coming in. So for us, we have them do a whole lot of homework, meaning not just learning about the concept, but I want to do a full financial analysis. Now, some people think that's a lot of work for a life insurance policy. It's just a small amount. But I really want to make sure that as I build a strategy for them, that it is going to help them, right? You don't want to just build something and make a great um, sell of a product, and ultimately they need to be, I don't know, learning how to budget first and foremost. They need to start a emergency fund that's just in their liquid savings account first, right? And sometimes that's needed. Maybe they don't even need a policy like a infinite banking type policy. Maybe it's a stream of income that they can't outlive, like an annuity or something like that. And so doing those full deep dives, really asking lots of questions and having a fiduciary responsibility to help the client make sure that this is going to fit within their goals both now and in the future, and thinking about taxes, thinking about all those areas is really important. And I think that there's a lot of people who are just, "Oh yeah, let's do it real quick. Let's put it in. and let me just run an illustration. Here you go, do an app. And I think that is not helpful in the long run for the client. Now, it does take the client work to actually think about their goals and get their stuff together. But in the end, that helps them have more clarity, even if they don't do a infinite banking yourself type policy or not.
Last question. I know you don't have a crystal ball. This is from AI again. What potential regulatory changes or financial industry developments could pose threats to infinite banking strategies in the future?
Wow, that's a hard question. I don't have a crystal ball. And I think that if anything, what I think about a couple years ago, people were like, why would I buy a policy when interest rates are at 2.9, right? Why would I do that? It's going to be great. It's going to be up into the um, or it's going to be low on our interest rates forever. And I'm like, well, it's not always going to be that way, especially whenever I knew that there was a lot of money being handed out left and right. I'm like, yeah, that's going to cause a problem in the future, which it did. And so now banks are charging a lot more for money, right? So some of the threats, I think that as we're in this game of high inflation, low inflation, I don't know, whatever happens tomorrow, it's changed in the past 3 years a lot, is what are the rich people putting their money into? Well, they really want to have a good foundation stability. So I don't think this is going to be touched as far as from the government, but I do think 401ks might be possibly. I don't have a crystal ball, but I want to make sure that I am paying my fair share of taxes now versus later, because I do think our economy is going to be in a place where we're trying to do the same things with less money. And where are they going to get that money from? Well, taxes probably. And how do I avoid that? Well, some I could put it through a policy. They do call it a rich man's Roth for a reason. Um, I could put more than a traditional Roth into this. So I don't know where it's going to go. All I want to be able to do is make sure that this can um, be used, whether we're in a high inflation environment, low inflation, high tax, low tax, whatever. I want to be able to um, bob and weave as things change.
So you might be thinking, how do you find out more and discover if infinite banking is right for you? Here is one way you might do that.
Ready to take the next step towards securing your financial future? Whether you're planning for retirement, saving for your dream home, or you just want to make your money work harder for you, the team at Wealth Wisdom Financial are ready to assist you. And now, it's easier than ever to see how we might give you a boost on your financial journey.
Schedule a 15-minute discovery call with one of us today.
And let's discuss your questions and your financial goals together.
Don't wait any longer. Your financial freedom awaits. Schedule your discovery call at www.wealthwisdomfp.com/call.
So this is a fun little interview. I like asking or thinking about how this concept works. It is a great foundational tool that I believe most Americans should have. We were doing that in the greatest generation, where people would put a lot of money or a good amount into their stability, their foundation. And we were then taught, hey, let's put it in a 401k. That'll be even better. Well, we've seen how that works. So we need to go back to the basics. We need to become savers more because I don't know, it can't just depend on other people to help us here. And at the same time, make sure you're finding people that are asking you the hard questions to you. asking you questions about your goals and dreams and helping you get to your end results. You might not even know what your end results are or have even thought too much into the future, but that's part of our job, is to help you think more creatively using the tools that are in your and everyone's tool belts to move forward in a positive way. The topics presented in this podcast are for general information only and not for the purpose of providing legal, accounting, or investment advice. On such matters, please consult a professional who asks you lots of questions about your goals, so that way they can help you build a plan that works for you.